I signed the lease for a new home so we can all live together. A new home? What are you talking about? I bought a brand new condominium. It's incredibly luxurious. Now we can all live together as a family. As the head of the household, I'll be watching over you. I felt that terrible premonition of mine come true. Where did you get that kind of money? With complete confidence, she replied. You had all that money and kept it hidden all this time. I bought a new place for $900,000 with your green bank book. All the blood drained from my face. Her words echoed in my head. My bank book is red. What? The shock and fear in that single word said everything. This was the beginning of the end for her. I'm Amy, 55 years old, and a full-time housewife. My husband, Kevin, is 58. He works as the head of the overseas division at a major trading company and travels abroad several times a year. We met in college, and after a few years of dating post-graduation, we got married. Back then, Kevin's parents welcomed me warmly, and his father especially was overjoyed, crying tears of happiness at our wedding. My own mother was, of course, also very supportive of our marriage. She treats Kevin like her own son. Last year, my mother was diagnosed with dementia and moved into a care facility. By the way, my family runs a small traditional Japanese sweets shop in the countryside. After my father passed away from illness 5 years ago, my younger brother took over the business. We've grown distant, and we hardly talk these days. We've been married for over 30 years and now live quietly, just the two of us. Looking back, I can't really say it's been peaceful. The main reason for that is Kevin's mother, Karen. His father passed away 10 years ago, and since then, she has lived alone in an apartment. On the surface, we kept up the appearance of a normal mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationship, but she constantly looked down on me and had an unhealthy dependence on her son. Kevin is also weak when it comes to his mother and always gives in to her unreasonable demands. From the very beginning of our marriage, she treated me harshly. At first, I thought it was just part of the typical tension between a daughter-in-law and her mother-in-law, but over time, her true nature began to show. She was extremely conscious of appearances and always tried to impress her friends, especially those her own age. My Kevin should have married a richer girl. Someone like her just isn't good enough. It was common for her to say things like that just loud enough for me to hear. At first, it hurt, but over time, I had to numb myself. Still, her harassment became more cunning with each passing year. One Sunday, we had our regular monthly family lunch at her place. It was a tradition that started when my father-in-law was still alive and continued after his death. I got up early in the morning and made Kevin's favorite simmered dishes, grilled fish, and seasonal vegetables. I packed everything with care into a small layered box and brought it with me. When I arrived and unwrapped the food, she glanced at it and scoffed. "Oh, you brought this? You didn't just pack up some convenience store food, did you? It looks so cheap." I was momentarily speechless. To think she'd mock something I woke up at 5 a.m. to prepare with such care. Still, I didn't want to ruin the pleasant atmosphere, so I forced a smile and replied, "No, I made it this morning. It's seasoned the way Kevin likes it." She narrowed her eyes and said, clearly displeased, "Is that so? But the seasoning is off. Kevin likes stronger flavors. You still don't know your husband's taste even after 30 years? Across the table, Kevin silently ate his food. Even though he could feel the tension, he never intervened. He's always been that way in front of his mother, saying nothing, just trying to smooth things over. I'll keep that in mind next time. As the meal went on, she started talking about her friends. She especially emphasized a story about one of them getting a luxury car from her son and his wife. That car was just lovely. Giving his mother a car for Mother's Day, what thoughtful children. I understood what she was implying, but I just continued calmly serving the food. Then, as if it were the most natural thing in the world, she announced, "Oh, by the way, my refrigerator broke. Kevin, get me a new one, would you? The top-of-the-line model, please." Susan's son just bought her the latest model from a well-known brand. Kevin finally looked up, clearly troubled. Wait, Mom, but didn't we just replace it last year? At that, her expression changed completely. She put down her chopsticks, stared at Kevin, and said emotionally, "How could you say that? Your mother asks you for something, and you make that face. No, it's not like that. Have you forgotten the debt you owe me for giving birth to you and raising you? And now you won't even buy me a refrigerator?" Kevin shrank back under his mother's fierce outburst, falling silent. It was as if he were a child again, frightened by the sudden shift in her emotions. Seeing that, she gave a triumphant smile. "Well, I'll be expecting it then." Later, Kevin gave in and bought her a luxury refrigerator for $1,500. Of course, it came from our savings. But that wasn't the end of her requests. She went on to demand a microwave, a vacuum cleaner, a TV, and an air conditioner. In less than 6 months, we had spent nearly $10,000 on appliances for her. One day, I finally gathered the courage to speak to Kevin. "Kevin, this can't go on. Our savings are being drained. I know, but I can't just ignore her. Ever since Dad died, she's been lonely. I think she buys things to fill that void." Kevin is a good man at heart. That's exactly why his mother takes advantage of him. Even though his kindness sometimes puts a strain on our lives, I can't bring myself to blame him. After all, I married him because I love that gentle side of him. I understand how you feel, but there has to be a limit. If this keeps going, it will affect our retirement. Kevin said nothing, just stared ahead. I could feel how torn he was between being a good son and being a responsible husband. But if we kept giving in to her demands, our own lives would fall apart. So I made up my mind to stay strong. A few months later, Kevin had a business trip abroad and would be away for 2 weeks. As I was watering the flowers in the garden, my phone suddenly rang. The screen displayed Karen, Kevin's mother. When I answered, I heard her excited voice. "Amy, come to the house right away. I have something important to discuss with you." "Did something happen?" "Just hurry over. It's something that concerns your and Kevin's future." Feeling both anxious and confused, I quickly got ready and headed to her house. When I opened the front door, I saw a middle-aged man in a suit sitting in the living room, holding a clipboard. "Oh, you finally made it. Amy, this is a real estate agent. Today, we're going to talk about our future home." "Excuse me?" The man stood up and cheerfully handed me his business card. "Nice to meet you. I'm here to show you a wonderful property today." Still confused, I accepted the card and looked at my mother-in-law. She was beaming and pointed to a stack of documents laid out on the table. "I've decided to buy a high-rise condo. We've already moved forward with the contract." I had no idea what she was talking about. "What do you mean?" "This area just doesn't suit my status. I'm moving into a brand new luxury condo. It's the top floor corner unit with an amazing view." She was visibly thrilled. I tried to make sense of it all. I had no idea she was planning to move, and I didn't understand why she was involving me. "That sounds wonderful, but why are you telling me?" She responded as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. "Because you too are paying for it. My pension isn't enough, so I want you to cover the cost." I was too shocked to respond, and she continued. "The monthly payments will be around $3,000, but with Kevin's income, it should be fine, right?" "That's impossible." "Then you should start working. It's shameful to still be a housewife at your age. My friend's daughter-in-law has a full-time job, you know." At that moment, the salesman jumped into our conversation, eagerly promoting the property. It's truly a remarkable unit. The view from the top floor is exceptional, and the building has extensive shared facilities. There's a pool, gym, and a lounge exclusive to owners. The price is a reasonable $900,000. The sheer absurdity of the amount made my head spin. Where did she think we could find that kind of money? "We can't make a big purchase like this without talking it over with Kevin." My mother-in-law raised her voice in frustration. What are you talking about? It's a child's duty to take care of their parents. Kevin always listens to me. He's not rebellious like you. But this time, it's just too much. Or are you planning to shove your poor mother-in-law into that cramped apartment forever? Her words stung. For nearly 30 years, I had done my best to support her, to be patient, and to smile through it all. To hear this now was unbearable. Still, I stayed calm. I didn't mean it that way, Karen. But this is a major decision. We need to talk it over as a couple. Let's include Kevin and have a proper discussion together. She didn't seem satisfied, but I managed to calm the situation. We told the salesman we would get back to him later and asked him to leave. As I was leaving, my mother-in-law grabbed my arm and whispered, I want an answer by tomorrow. That property has a lot of interest. If we miss it, we'll never find something this good again. I nodded vaguely and left. As soon as I got home, I tried to call Kevin, but he didn't answer. He was still overseas on his business trip. I sent him a brief email explaining the situation and asked that we talk when he returned. As expected, his reply was non-committal. I know Mom's getting older, and I'd like her to live somewhere she feels secure, but we really can't afford it right now. We'll talk when I get back. What came next was exhausting. My mother-in-law began calling me almost every day, each time more insistent. Sign the contract for the condo already. I can't make that decision on my own. Please wait until Kevin is back. I'll talk to Kevin directly. You're obviously just feeding him nonsense and getting in the way. She hung up abruptly after that. When Kevin finally returned, we all met at her house to discuss the matter. Mom, we can't buy the condo. You'll have to let it go this time. I felt relieved that he supported my stance. But then, her face turned bright red with rage. You ungrateful child. Are you not ashamed to let your wife control you? No matter what you say, we just can't afford it. You two are so heartless. Do you have any idea how lonely I am? All my friends are treated with such care by their children, but I'm the only one left out. Tears streamed down her face, but Kevin, unusually firm, replied, We're thinking about you too, Mom, but it's just not possible right now. Once things improve, we can revisit it. She seemed crushed by his words, but for the time being, she backed down. But though she appeared to accept it on the surface, she was already planning something else in her mind. About 2 weeks after the discussion with his mother, Kevin was scheduled to be away on a 1-month business trip overseas. He said it was an important assignment, visiting branch offices across several countries in Asia. Right around that time, I got word that my maternal grandmother, who lived near my parents' house, had been hospitalized. She was over 95 and had been in declining health lately. Worried, I decided to return to my hometown and take care of her while Kevin was away. I asked my longtime friend to watch over our house while I was gone. She agreed to come twice a week to check the mail and water the plants. The day after Kevin left, I headed to my family home. Fortunately, my grandmother's condition was better than expected. She was still hospitalized, but fully conscious. During my time away, I didn't hear a single word from my mother-in-law. In fact, it was so peaceful that it started to make me nervous. After 3 weeks with my grandmother stable, I decided to return home earlier than planned. But when I got home, something felt off. At first glance, everything looked the same, but one of the drawers in the study was slightly out of place. Is it just my imagination? Just to be safe, I decided to check the safe. It was hidden behind a bookshelf in the study, and it appeared untouched. But I still had a bad feeling, so I opened it. What? One of the bank books was missing. I frantically searched inside the safe, but it was nowhere to be found. I checked the drawers and shelves, but it was gone. Even the seal we kept with it was missing. Instead, I found a brochure from a real estate company in a luxury neighborhood. It had photos of the condo and a note written in red pen. This is the one. A chill ran down my spine. Looking closer, I realized it was the same condo the salesman had shown us before. And now the bank book was missing. This wasn't a coincidence. Something was happening. I immediately called my friend. Did anyone come to the house while I was gone? Well, about a week ago, your mother-in-law came by. She said she was picking up some things, so I let her in. She told me she had already told you. Did you see what she took? Just as I was about to check, I got a phone call. When she left, it didn't look like she had taken anything. Everything clicked into place: the fact that my mother-in-law had entered the house, the missing bank book, the real estate brochure. With trembling hands, I called Kevin, but he didn't answer, likely busy with work. I sent him an email explaining the situation and asked him to contact me as soon as possible. The next day, Kevin finally called from overseas. He was speechless after hearing my story. I can't believe it. I never thought Mom would do something like that. Luckily, the work I had planned is wrapping up earlier than expected. I'll arrange to come home right away. And with that, Kevin cut his trip short and returned home. The very next day, just after arriving back, Kevin received a call from his mother. "Welcome home, Kevin. I have an amazing surprise for you." "What is it, Mom?" Her voice was trembling with excitement. "I signed the contract for a new home so we can all live together." "A new home? What are you talking about?" "I bought a brand new condominium. It's so luxurious. Now we can all live together as a family. I'll be the head of the household and watch over both of you." I felt a terrible chill. My worst fear had come true. "Mom, where did you get the money for something like that?" With full confidence, she replied, "You were hiding all that money all this time. I bought a new place for $900,000 using your green bank book." I felt the blood drain from my face. Her words echoed in my head. "My bank book is red." What? That one word, filled with shock and fear, said it all. I looked at Kevin. His face was pale with worry and fatigue. We hung up and immediately drove to her house. On the way there, I explained everything to Kevin. The green bank book she took, it contained the money my mother saved for my brother and me. She trusted me with it. Hearing that, Kevin's face turned even more grim. Mom's obsession with living in a luxury condo has been growing lately. Maybe she did it to avoid feeling inferior around her friends. But that doesn't excuse what she did. No, it doesn't. For now, let's sit down and talk to her. Kevin nodded firmly and drove in silence. When we arrived and rang the bell, she greeted us, looking unsettled, nothing like her usual domineering self. She was unsteady on her feet, and her gaze was unfocused. We sat down in the living room, and I spoke immediately. "About the bank book. Can you explain exactly what happened?" Suddenly, she changed her tone and burst into triumphant laughter. "Look, these are the blueprints for our new home. Isn't it stunning?" She continued enthusiastically. "It even has a pool. The living room has an open ceiling, and the bedroom comes with a walk-in closet. My friends are going to be so jealous. And I chose it with the thought of giving back to you too. You'll get to live there, too." It was as if she was lost in some fantasy, refusing to face reality. Her hands were trembling slightly, but her expression was glowing. "Giving back? Yes. It's my way of showing gratitude. I taught you so many things about running a household. So it's only fair that you use your money to build this house. It's silly to hide that kind of money." Seeing me at a loss for words, she grew more confident. "Of course, I should be the one in charge. I'm like a mother to you. What's yours is mine. How could you do something like this without even talking to me first? You stole that bank book." Kevin couldn't contain his anger. His fists were clenched, veins bulging. She waved her hand dismissively to cut him off. "What are you saying? Children should never defy their parents. Do you want to be seen as ungrateful? That's not the point. Amy should listen to me too. You're not even my real daughter, so you should be showing even more respect. Can't you be thankful to your in-laws?" Her words cut deep. To her, I had always been an outsider. But this was not the time to let emotions take over. "Karen, the green bank book you took had $900,000 in it. That money was saved by my parents for my brother and me. Then it's not really your money. So that makes it perfect to use for the house. Know that money isn't just mine. It belongs to both of us equally. And I took a deep breath and straightened my back before speaking firmly. That bank book was stored in our safe. You opened it without permission and stole something that wasn't yours. The blood drained from her face, and she sank into a chair. You're exaggerating, right, Kevin? No, Amy is absolutely right. He looked devastated by the fact that his own mother had stolen from his wife. This is theft. We'll be contacting the police and a lawyer. Don't be ridiculous. This is a family matter. Kevin, make this woman shut her mouth. Even between relatives, stealing someone else's property is a crime. And that money belongs partly to my brother, who isn't even related to you. Her expression was a mixture of fear and confusion. Cold sweat trickled from her cheek down her neck. I only did it for your sake. No, you stole it for your own selfish desires. But, she choked up, tears forming in her eyes. Whether those tears were from real remorse or just self-pity, I couldn't tell. You have two options, Karen. One is to face criminal charges. The other is to come up with the money and pay it back. I kept my voice calm and steady. There's no way I can come up with that money. I don't even work. I don't have anything to give you. She grew desperate, turning to Kevin for help. But his expression was resolute. He silently shook his head. Mom, if Dad were still alive, he would never forgive you for this. At that, she finally broke down in tears. Her makeup was ruined, her face soaked with tears. Fine, I'll sell the house. After a long silence, she finally whispered the words. Hearing this, Kevin and I quietly left. The next day, we returned to her house with our lawyer to discuss the details. She sat quietly. She looked so small, nothing like the overbearing woman she had been just the day before. The lawyer calmly reviewed the situation. Let's first confirm the facts. Karen took a green bank book from Amy's safe without permission and used the $900,000 in it to sign a property contract. Is that correct? We nodded. He turned his sharp gaze on her and continued. This act constitutes theft and embezzlement under the law. Even between family members, property rights are protected, so criminal charges are possible. However, since Karen has expressed willingness to repay the money, we will aim for a civil resolution first. Karen hunched her shoulders, avoiding the lawyer's stern gaze. Karen, can you tell us the details of the real estate contract? It's a high-rise condominium in the suburbs. I paid $900,000. Is the contract cancelable? No, I signed a clause waiving cancellation rights in exchange for a $10,000 early buyer discount. And also, after hesitating, Karen continued in an even smaller voice. The handover is already complete, and the interior construction has started. If I cancel now, I'll have to pay the full cost of the renovation. The lawyer sighed as he took notes. The only sound in the quiet room was the pen gliding across the paper. If the contract cannot be canceled, then we need to consider selling the condo. However, there's no guarantee a buyer will appear quickly, and it's highly likely you'll suffer a financial loss. What? Then what am I supposed to do? First, we will move forward with selling Karen's current home to recover as much of the funds as possible. Additionally, you will be required to cover all legal fees and related expenses incurred due to your actions. Karen nodded silently. Her eyes were filled with resignation. My heart ached, but there was no way I could simply forgive her. That money didn't just belong to me, it was also my brother's rightful inheritance. And Karen, what you've done could also be treated as a criminal offense. The lawyer said firmly. If Amy and Kevin file a police report, there is a real possibility that you could be arrested. Given the amount involved, even at your age, you could face a prison sentence. Karen looked up, her eyes filled with fear as she stared at me and Kevin. Arrested? Under the law, this constitutes theft. There may be some room for leniency, but a crime is a crime. And with a loss of $900,000, This will not be taken lightly. Kevin furrowed his brow and let out a deep sigh. If you had just come to us, if we had talked, we could have found a better solution. I was just so lonely. You were always so busy, and we hardly saw each other. My friends are all surrounded by their children and grandchildren, and I was the only one left out. For the first time, Karen seemed genuinely remorseful. She covered her face with her hands, her shoulders trembling. And I wanted something to brag about. At our tea gatherings, everyone always talks about their children and grandchildren, and I had nothing. But that didn't justify committing a crime. Kevin remained firm. If you felt that way, you should have said something. I would have made more time to visit you. But stealing from someone is wrong, no matter the reason. It's a crime. Karen silently wiped away her tears. After that, we worked with the lawyer to draw up a detailed repayment plan for the $900,000. Karen's home would be sold, and the condo would be listed for resale. Given the state of the real estate market, there was a high likelihood of a loss, but we confirmed that she would be fully responsible. We also agreed she would pay back what she could little by little from her pension. It would be a difficult path for her, but it was no longer our concern. As we were leaving her house after the meeting, she mumbled, barely loud enough to hear. Why am I the one being blamed? I didn't do anything wrong. I could hardly believe what I'd just heard. Moon, please reflect on what you've done. What's done is done. There's no undoing it. Please understand the weight of your actions. We left Karen's house. In the car, Kevin let out a long sigh. Amy, I'm really sorry. I took his hand and gave a small nod. It's not your fault. We'll take it one step at a time. I just hope she truly reflects on her actions. From that day on, our lives changed dramatically. The next morning, Karen suddenly showed up at our home with her friend Susan. Susan's eyes were full of hostility. How dare you treat Karen like that? She devoted her life to you, Kevin, and now you repay her like this. You two should be ashamed. Susan raised her voice. She pointed her finger at us, accusing us with harsh words. So now money matters more than your own mother? Are you really going to leave her homeless? Do you even have a heart? Karen called me in tears, saying you're taking her house away. How could you treat such a kind woman like this? Karen stayed silent, hiding behind Susan. Watching the scene, I quickly realized what was happening. Karen had fed Susan a pack of lies. She had twisted the facts and made herself out to be the victim. Though I was appalled by her duplicity, I forced myself to stay calm. Please don't speak without knowing the facts. This is a matter of theft and fraud. Karen stole a bank book from my safe. Susan scoffed. Karen would never do such a thing. She's a refined and respectable woman. I've known her for years. I know her character better than anyone. This woman is just after my money. She thinks she can trick the elderly just because she's young. It's unforgivable. Karen jumped in, emboldened by Susan's defense. Kevin tried to interject, but Susan refused to listen. I went to the study and returned with a stack of documents. One by one, I spread them out on the table and began to explain. Karen stole my bank book and used $900,000 without permission. This is the police report. This is the legal notice from our attorney. And this is the property contract she signed while pretending to be me. Susan's expression shifted from anger to confusion, then to alarm. She covered her mouth and looked at Karen. Karen, is this true? No, Amy's lying. It's all fake, fabricated. Karen frantically tried to defend herself, but I had one last card to play. A recording from the small surveillance camera we had hidden inside the safe. Actually, when Kevin's overseas trip was confirmed, I had installed a surveillance camera in the safe just in case. It was meant as a precaution against theft, but I never imagined it would capture Karen on video. I pulled out a tablet and began playing the footage. Clear video began to roll. There she was, Karen. She snuck into the room, rummaged through the drawers, and eventually found the safe. After unsuccessfully trying to open it with tools, She searched the house until she found the key in my bedroom drawer. Then, unmistakably, she opened the safe and removed the green bankbook. The moment of the crime played out in silence, freezing the entire room. Susan was stunned. Karen's face turned pale, and she slumped down in her chair. Karen, how could you? Susan began to step back from her. Her eyes now held a mixture of disbelief and disappointment in her former friend. She looked down at Karen with a firm, cold expression. I can't stay friends with you anymore. You lied to us. To all of us. I'm telling everyone what you did. Don't come to our tea gatherings again. With that, she turned and left the house. Karen was now completely alone. She collapsed to the floor, her shoulders shaking as she sobbed. I was just lonely. No one understands how I feel. Loneliness is no excuse for a crime. You need to face what you've done. Don't rely on us anymore. Her eyes filled with despair. It was a pitiful sight, and for a moment, I felt a flicker of sympathy. But I couldn't forgive her. The fact remained. She had committed a serious crime. Before long, Karen quietly left the house. As she walked away, her figure seemed smaller than ever. Her downfall didn't end there. The condo was sold at 30% below market value, depleting nearly all of her retirement savings. She moved into a senior apartment, forced to live in solitude and hardship. All the antiques and art she had collected over the years were sold off, leaving her with little more than basic living expenses. Her friendships were entirely severed, and she was formally excluded from her social circle. Naturally, we also limited contact with her to the bare minimum. From time to time, Karen would call Kevin in tears, but their conversations were brief, just a few words exchanged before he ended the call. In the civil lawsuit, the court officially recognized that Karen had violated property rights. She was ordered to pay the full amount of damages and legal fees. Her social credibility was utterly destroyed. Then one day, Karen unexpectedly showed up at our home. Please, forgive me. I can't take this anymore. Her voice was frail and pleading, but Kevin remained cold and composed. You need to take responsibility for what you've done. I'm your mother, and you won't help me? Standing beside Kevin, I answered quietly. You didn't just steal my money, you destroyed the trust within our family. That's something money can't buy back. We closed the door, leaving Karen standing motionless at the entrance. We heard her sobbing, but we didn't reopen the door. After that, she spent her days alone, visited only by municipal caregivers, paying the price for what she had done. It has now been 3 years since then, and our lives have steadily recovered. Thanks to the support of our attorney and compensation from our insurance company, we were able to recover about 60% of the financial loss. This ordeal strengthened the bond between Kevin and me. We now host monthly seminars to help prevent financial fraud among seniors. This new purpose has become a source of fulfillment for us and earned us trust within the community. My relationship with my brother has also improved. We keep in regular contact now. We purchased a new home, one filled only with the things that truly matter to us. Kevin's achievements at work were recognized, and his income increased. We reviewed our retirement plans and consulted professionals about wealth management and inheritance. Karen's name rarely comes up anymore. The wound has healed, but we still cannot forgive her. Even so, we've chosen not to be bound by the past. We keep moving forward, one step at a time,